Call this special meeting to order the Griggs County Commission, 1 p.m., April 29th, 2019. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I believe we have one agenda item. Gravel bid opening.
I didn't receive any
Is there
bids.
any additions or corrections
Oh,
to the agenda? Motion to approve.
So move.
Moved by Mark and seconded by Dale to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Gravel bid opening.
I didn't receive any.
Be hard to open them then. eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
None.
No bids. So,
Well, if it's all right, may I just leave?
Yeah.
I came here, I was hoping there was someone I could sell gravel to, and so I thank you all.
Yep.
See you, Tom.
thank you, Tom.
Yep.
This just happened in Nelson County too.
Yeah, and we had the same spec up there, the same PI requirement, and they had a later completion date, but they didn't get any bids there either. They bid theirs a little bit earlier, a month ago or whatever, but they, one of the gravel suppliers up there just said he couldn't get into his pits yet to see if he could even make the stuff at that time, and I guess, Tom was just saying that he was trying to get into one of his pits up there just, a couple days ago, and his stuff is still frozen too, so.
Don't you think it has something to do, the reason we're not getting any bids is to do with that clay-based stuff or whatever,
The
that,
PI test, yeah.
yeah,
it's-
no, not the test part of it, the product we were gonna add to it, that
No.
binder.
No.
That's not the problem.
That's not, you don't think that's an issue why we're not getting
Well,
bids?
maybe-
Absolutely not. Nelson County wasn't going to use base
They
water.
weren't gonna use
Oh,
base one.
okay.
Then they took them specs out of there and they're rebidding it.
Right.
They put it on a different road.
Yeah,
They're on a
but,
different
yeah,
project, but yeah.
so maybe it isn't necessarily the product, the clay product, but it appears to be that the testing is not uniform. So the contractors are leery because they test in the pile
Yep.
and they get out to the road and it gets rejected and then they get penalized. So all we're doing by having that spec in there is artificially building dollars into the bid so they can cover the penalty when they get it.
If they bid,
If they bid it,
which they didn't.
they didn't. And I think we had this discussion when we okayed it to put this in there, and now this is just further proof that that's what happened. So I think that needs to go away now for the third time.
It's a lot like vomitoxin barley.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's,
What happened? Why'd I have it?
Yeah.
How do I get rid of it? I just bring another load in.
I
and
bring the
went
same
away.
load in and pass and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are our options, Wayne?
Well, we have to do it quickly
Oh, yeah.
too, so we get back into June. But we'd have to put it out there maybe without that
Yeah.
base one in there and see.
Well, without
We can
that-
rebid the same road.
I think you can rebid the same road.
Yeah, so when I had put the proposal to the committee or whatever, the East Central Region Committee and Brian Tukes of DOT, I had, really pushed for that 11 to 15% pass in the 10 to 15% pass in the 200 rather than the PI spec. And I got some pushback from him, but he kind of let it go if we were going to do the base one with it. That his concern was that basically we're doing the same project that had been done already with state funds, 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was
Mhm.
on the same road. So they wanted to be able to show the value of why we're working on that same road again. We should probably be doing something different this time if we're doing it on the same stretch of road. So that was why we added the base one. And also, since the old gravel that's on the road, on that, especially on the west end, was, on the bottom edge of the spec, passing the 200, we wanted to increase that. That's why I wanted to modify the gradation band. And then after talking with the base one folks and got that sheet from them that says what their gradation range is, that they want 3% clay in the fines, the only way to get that for sure is to test for it. I think we'll get it if we rebid it with 10 to 15% passing the 200 and basically just put the same project out with just a different SP2, the supplemental or special provision, eliminating the PI testing and putting the 10 to 15.
We can't really deal with this right now anyway, but can we? We can add it to the agenda of the regular meeting.
Okay.
But my feeling is after going on that Base One website and watching some of the testimonials and stuff, number one, I can't figure out what the product is. I can't get an MSDS off that website.
Right.
Can't find nothing. Number two, I watched some of these county superintendents over in Minnesota that have been using this product. When the thing comes apart in big chunks, and they're going out and putting cold patch in. What? That's not something we want to be involved with. I don't even think we should use that stuff.
Is that happening where they've done a seal coat over the top of it?
No, I would just.
Not always.
No.
There was some of that too, where they went. How did that go? They put this on, then they put chipped asphalt on there, or
Well,
milled,
They called it a thin seal where they mix it with chips.
and then seal coated it.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like the gravel comes up in chunks when it starts coming apart too.
And well, and something to hold this together better. I mean, the Base One people like to have the main chloride on top, the dust control, which we didn't. I don't know if everybody's on the same page with that on the commission here either, whether that's a good thing or not. If it rains, get a long soaking rain, that stuff gets kind of greasy.
Melts
but
the
it
snow
does-
in the wintertime. There's a
Yeah.
stretch of that south of Mackville, and it's rougher than a corn cob all the time. They can't. The maintainer can't work with it. I hate it.
Okay, and it must.
And the only reason they did a half mile there was because whoever lived along that road must have been complaining to the commissioners.
Right.
So they used that chloride on there.
So, well, we didn't get a bid, but we can talk about the bid. So how much money do we have left to spend?
About 503,000.
okay.
Or five. I'm not sure if it's 503 or 524. We got a tally. We know how much is left to pay on. It's about $1,000 left, or 9 something left to pay on the box culvert, local match, and there was 524 still between the two funding sources at the DOT. But we submitted that request for reimbursement for 21,000. I think that was signed March 8th at your meeting there. And I don't know if that has come out of that total. I don't know if that's come out of that total. I emailed Patty yesterday, but I didn't get anything back yet.
So
If can we put more gravel on instead of using Base One?
I think maybe if it was a different gradation, I think we would have to go back to the group and ask before we would do that. But I think that's an option if they would approve it.
I would be in favor of doing that before. Or, talking to the truck driver that's down there and the manager of the elevator, he thinks we should do more fabric than 1,000 feet. He went and drove that road. Now you've been driving that road,
Yeah.
quite
I
often
have
here.
too. Yeah, and I've driven on
So-
the roads too, and there's soft spots.
I know.
On them too.
I know, but they don't get the traffic that
Don't
one
get as
does.
much traffic.
I just came off that road now to look at it, and it's actually better than the east end for soft spots today. I wonder if I just,
Right now, there isn't a lot of, I can't see a lot of soft spots when I've driven on that, except way at the end. Well, it isn't even too bad where that culvert is. There's water.
just a little west of Beatty's,
Yes,
there's a run of soft spots and there's no water around it.
that was a
Well, I
problem
have
last
soft
year.
spots on my driveway, and we drive on there twice a day with the pickup. I mean,
Right.
there's going to be some of that.
When the frost goes out, because some of them are here.
it's gotta come out.
Yeah.
Water can't go down. It's frozen below it. So can we identify enough road to gravel? I mean, that plus other things to use is $520,000 and do away with that gradation. We're never gonna get a bid on this, or the bid is gonna be extremely high if we have those fine clays in there, if we're testing for that. Because one company controls all the gravel in this area. They don't have the product. They're not willing to bid it, And if somebody comes in outside to bid it, they gotta buy the gravel here anyway, so it's not gonna work. Or they're gonna truck it in and it's gonna cost us 3 times the money.
Or they might have it, and I've seen that put on a road and it isn't worth putting on.
I think we should, my opinion, I think we should just go back to this, to what we can get with the normal testing, is whatever grade that is.
You have to have some testing, of course.
Yeah, no, we have to have
Yeah.
testing, but I mean, the only testing that seems to be inaccurate is just for the real plants.
The PI test, yeah, I agree, we need to get rid of that. We've tried to bid it twice, and
You know, maybe in an area where they have that, it might work, but it seems to me that the testing is what is problematic.
yeah, when I talked to Stefaniak, and, you know, they didn't submit a bid
Yeah.
either, but they, you know, they said they'll make it if, you know, if it's spec'd out, but they're not real crazy about it, just because of, you know, a pit either has it or it doesn't. If they have to bring in clay to blend it with it, that it's, you know, it gets pretty costly, so.
Right.
And the
Well,
only reason we were doing it is.
Gilbertson's
because
did
phase
that,
one.
and they still didn't make it.
They made it in the pile when they produced it.
I know.
Yeah.
Didn't make it once they got to the road.
If the test isn't repeatable, it's not very good test.
But
And-
we can only deal with what we can deal with, what we have.
Yeah.
And the only reason we had it done there is because the base one folks wanted that 3%
Right.
clay, which if
Okay.
we can't get it, we can't get it. We'll just,
Yeah, you
we'll
take
we'll
it
have to
out.
drop that out.
You took it out of there.
Okay.
And that base one, I think, from the reading I did on it, I think it is what the name implies. I think it works really good underneath an asphalt or a concrete product. It kind of replaces the mesh or the fabric
Yeah.
and stiffens things up. The stuff I saw when they put it on the roads, unless they put another 4 inches gravel over it, it didn't seem like at least in their testimonials, I don't agree with them anyway, but they weren't too pleased with a lot of it. But there was some negative stuff anyway. But if it's gonna cost us more money and we're not gonna get any bids, it doesn't matter what we can,
I think it's a conspiracy, because the money's gonna run out in June.
Yeah. Did you say the west end is kind of greasy or whatever? It didn't get enough, or it's got too much of the clay? Not enough? Not enough, you think?
Yeah, that's where the test results were.
And
Yeah.
It's dustier on that area. It's whiter gravel or lighter colored.
It was
Yeah.
different source for some of it.
It was noticeable when you drive it.
You know, the best gravel I've seen for dust comes out of that pit down by Ashtabula. The stuff they brought up in our country from there was noticeably less dust.
You're talking the stuff out of Mueller's pit?
I think so. And
Is
Tom's got a pit down there that he developed.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice gravel.
That's awful nice stuff. How are you doing?
But it costs more money to get it up here.
It does. It does.
I had them gravel my driveway with it.
One township to the west, Clearfield, did their whole township that way. It's
And
twice
it's,
the money,
it's
but
about this color too.
it is.
It looks like gravel should look in my head.
that's the way it used to look.
Yeah.
Trouble is, I mean, probably don't get as much traffic towards that.
You're right.
Yes.
I've heard that stuff didn't have enough binder in that stuff.
That's what you were saying. That's why I asked if it was.
It
if
rolled
was a
off the
little
road,
more
you mean?
Greasy out that way,
Oh.
to mix it together a little bit, but.
That's, Tommy even admitted that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, less binder.
Yeah.
so,
It's a nice colored look.
That's kind of nice in the yard though,
Yeah.
because you walk across the yard when it's raining and you don't get your feet full
That's
of mud.
right. Yeah.
Like
So-
Tommy D calls it, cackling.
Yeah.
so the going rate of gravel put down is somewhere between $5 and $10 a ton.
Last ones you got here, I think were 8-ish.
Okay, $7 to $10 a ton.
7 to 10, yeah.
Okay, so then we need to identify gravel projects somewhere between 74,000 tons and 52,000 tons to get rid of the money we have here. So if it's $7 a ton, we need 74,000 ton project,
It's like-
which would be increasing what the mileage we're doing there by 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there that kind of mileage that we can identify, Wayne?
We could gravel to the east of pavement on the Hanford Road.
Oh, that's been gravel before.
I know, that's,
Yeah,
so
same
is that.
time. Yeah, it was at the same time.
You know, that first, from Karnak to the pavement was really bad.
Is it better
There was a
now?
lot of traffic, yeah. Jake pulled in everything, but it really got rough, but pulled in both shoulders and
Oh, you reclaimed that thing this year? This
reclaimed it, because it was just, there was places where there was clay that binded stuff together, there was places where it broke apart, dust, you know, there's so much traffic on that too.
Oh, yeah.
Because they say they bought the elevator in Laverne or whatever, and so there's a lot of
Oh,
trucking across there. I think the biggest obstacle we have is to get it approved by the DOT.
when
They're changing the scope.
right, the East Central folks, and that usually happens pretty quick, I mean, within a week probably.
We still have to go through the board, or can, well, that was because we had pre-approved projects, you're supposed, you know, we had pre-approved projects the first time we went, we had that list of projects that we had, and then
And we don't
They
have anything
approved them
left
and
on there.
so it was-
Well, we do, we got that, the road by west of Binford. That was a pre-approved project, building it up.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, but since we haven't done the environmental stuff for that, that
No.
wouldn't
Get it
be
done.
doable in that time frame.
And we have to have it approved by end of June or middle of June.
We have to have the reimbursement request, I don't know if the funds have to be expended back to you by then, but you have to have a reimbursement request in. So you'd have to have it under contract,
We have to have it under contract.
send the reimbursement request in, and they want that, you know, a few weeks ahead of that June 30th date, so.
Okay.
So
So
if
middle
it
of
bid,
June.
yeah, right, so early June probably would be safer.
So if we get a bid out, if we identify and get a bid out the 1st of May, 3 weeks we should be fine, correct? Once the bid is out and accepted, the reimbursement request can go
We
in.
figured we'd have to put a bid out like next week in the
Yep.
paper, and then send that into the state, but we gotta talk to Brian Yanks, and he was gone this week.
Well, and I guess they've already approved the project without testing for PI, but with that modification for the gradation, that's the way we submitted it. And he was pushing me to go with the PI spec, and that's what the base one folks kinda wanted too. So, I mean, if we did just do that project with 10-15% passing to get the clay in there that the base one needs, you could basically still bid the same project again without having that PI test, and I think you get another bid. I don't know if you wanna still leave that August 1st completion date, though, that's really pushing things.
Or you want to bid it with the base one in there?
Well, I mean,
Couldn't they bid the project separately with this case when
make an alternate,
That's what I was wondering.
that could be an option.
So what do you
I was hoping
think?
somebody would have bid on the gravel, and then somebody would have bid on the base one, and then could have just
Well, that's one,
Well, there's only,
thrown out the.
industrial builders are the only people that have a milling machine to do this anyways.
Mid-State Reclamation out of Lakeville.
So there's people that picked up the
Yeah, they
plans,
got plans,
or
those two did.
So what
And there was a
would,
third one.
what do you think the estimate would be for the million and
We had it separated out in the estimate at about 64,000, something like that. But just,
I think, and the
and
product.
then and how much is the product?
that's milling and injecting that product. And that's basically a separate operation. And we figured that they would be laying down the gravel, spreading it out. You know, you get your road dissection, spread your new gravel out, test that as it's going down, and then come back through and mill and inject.
So the price that Gilbertson's got from industrial builders was $123,000 for the product and the mill, the milling machine and the water trucks.
So that's why they didn't bid. I suppose.
So
Oh,
the product was $45.70 a gallon, I think, and that was 3,750 gallons. Is that right?
I thought it was $23 a gallon, but then that wasn't installed.
Wasn't the engineer's estimate $430,000?
I sent it to you, so I got it right here.
For the whole project.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been $45 a gallon.
It was like $4.95 is what we were,
There's 2,700 gallons of it.
2,700?
Yeah.
there it is.
2,700.
Yeah, 2785 at 23 is what we had estimated, but that's basically the material cost, so yeah, to install it, it'd be more.
So it was like 123,000. Plus, there would be engineering costs on top of that and everything else, you know. So,
But we had estimated the modified gravel surfacing at $14 a ton, not 7, because we knew it was gonna be more expensive to make the PI stuff. So if you do that without that, you should still have room to do that. Base one, or to do a May chloride or something over the top.
I just think we should leave all that stuff in the jug and put more gravel down. I don't like the way that stuff looks. When I,
Evidently, the contractors don't either, they're not here.
Yeah. I think we need a little more information on it. We can go and look and,
well, go to their website. I went to their website and
Yeah.
read a whole bunch of stuff and watched some videos and
I mean, I don't know what you thought of it, but it appears to me that we were being the guinea pig, or doing a little bit of experiment.
there isn't very much of it done, that's for sure.
Not in state here.
Right.
Well, they're-
Basically, Polk County, Minnesota was
It's like
really
Polk
the
County
reason
looks
why
like they're
I was
really-
even looking at it.
Right.
And he was the president of the National Association of County Engineers, so you know, and they do like 20 miles of it a year, 4 inches thick every year. And he seemed to be, I mean, super happy with it. And then, you know, they had, you know, basically like you said, testimonials. They had submitted
I
to
didn't,
different
never could
people.
find any actual, so I don't think that Griggs County should be in the experimentation business with taxpayer dollars.
Sure.
Again, we can only put out there what we have in the county. So we should get what we have in the county that's readily available and spend and do something with it. Or send the money back to the state. Or not draw it from the state. Because we try this one more time, then we're done.
Right.
We put it out there, base one and no bids, and then
Yeah.
there's no time.
Right, and we're getting bids for the base one though, I mean, or they got quotes for it, I don't think that's the issue as far as getting the people to put that in.
Well, we're just speculating here.
Right.
There's no bids here.
No, nobody's, I mean, they ain't got the quote for that.
if we split the bid, though, then we've got our bases covered if that's the
But
sticking
you
point.
can't accept the base one bid without the other one in place, so you really need to bid them together. Unless you have an alternate to add it.
I think we're running out of time.
But the point, my
Yeah,
point
yeah.
is, yeah, Gilbertson's could have subcontracted the base one application because they did have a price on it, but they still didn't bid the project.
Right, exactly. Right,
So-
so it was just because of the PI, not, I
Yeah.
mean, he told me as much, he stopped up at our office.
Yep. He stopped at my office after he stopped at your office.
Okay. And I think, you know, this spec was written to do the testing up front as it's being produced, so we have a pretty good idea that what we're getting on the road is what they're making, you know, rather than having a pile produced and not knowing before whether it's good or not.
Right, but I think they tested their piles as they put them out.
For gradation. Yeah.
Okay.
Most contractors don't even have it. It's, you know, just an additional test run. Well, at least that's what Stefaniak told me too. So I think everybody's in the same boat there.
Okay.
I don't think there's any suppliers around here that have tested for PI in piles they already have.
Okay.
So I think this bid was for what, 3 inches of gravel on this,
Yeah.
Yep.
on this project?
Mhm.
If we take out the base one and the PI,
Put 5 inches on.
and how many inches of gravel can you put on? Would you guess?
I don't, there's a max, it just says there's a minimum, there's a maximum also.
Oh, is there?
And I don't know what it is, but it isn't double, I don't think.
I don't know if they had a max, it had to be at least 3 inches. If you were doing patching or dig outs, you had to do at least a 3-inch overlay to do that with it. I'm pretty sure that you can't just do spot graveling with the house bill money.
Or maybe.
If you're gonna dig out more spots, it's gonna cost you.
Right.
That's,
Maybe that's.
without engineering, without core samples and then some kind of engineering, that's a hit and miss too.
Yeah, I mean, we could drive it today and
you know, like we drove it last fall, well, it was drier, and of course, it wasn't soft,
And
you know.
Central Plains did 1,500 feet of that, right, when they built, before they started building the elevator.
Yep, the contractor that did the elevator and set up plans and plumbing. Yeah, we went across that sleeve.
These are the maps that Ben gave me.
Oh,
He wouldn't roll it. So, here's the elevator.
yep,
And that's what they did before.
yep, we were there through the sleeve.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he thinks should be done there and there. But, I mean, you can, we don't have to do what they think should be done, but,
No,
take a look at it anyway.
They're the guys that drive it every day.
west of Beatty's, but that.
Yeah, him and Craig looked at it. Well, Craig drives that road.
You bet.
Very long.
Yeah, that was not huge either. Well, it's probably,
Well,
yeah,
And, oh, by the way, Craig worked at the highway department for,
County,
they got 860 feet there.
yeah,
oh, yeah,
for many years.
oh, yeah, there it is.
860, 650, and 530. So what's that? 2,500.
Yeah, about a half mile.
Even
Well, not, I mean, that's.
without doubting their expertise, and I don't, it's still a very, very dangerous precedent to let an outside entity spend taxpayer dollars. So where does that stop?
As far as. I think it was
Recommendations for
Yeah.
what needs to be done.
You'd have to, our engineer would have to go and inspect that area too. And you'd say that it would be.
You know, so
Mhm.
let's just, we allow that to happen there.
Yeah.
What do we say to the people up in the northeastern corner of the county that want the culvert replaced? That,
Yep.
no, I mean, we don't,
They're just recommendations.
Yeah,
I think we verified that those spots are soft or
and
whatever.
and maybe we missed it, maybe they are soft.
well, we looked at it last summer and now it's springtime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, this time of year is, I mean,
It's the worst
driving
thing.
back road from Red Willow is just,
I know,
Yep.
And on other projects.
but that doesn't get 200 trucks a day.
no. And that, therein lies the problem.
That's the
It's
problem.
there's probably nothing short of concrete that's gonna fix that.
Well, when I started this project, I wanted to keep the gravel on the road, and that's kind of what chloride does. Keeps the fines from blowing away, but
It doesn't
if
like.
it doesn't set up, then that's no good.
And you gotta do it every year.
Yeah.
You almost have to set up a program where you're gonna do it every year. Second year, you probably don't have to put as much on as the next.
Ben said they tried to use some kind of a product. He told me what it was and they put it in that gravel in their
In their yard there.
Yeah. He said it just broke up in chunks and that was
Yeah, they should
awful.
have had base one.
So,
Well, there was something really similar to that.
It was costing more.
I mean, this is an extraordinary set of circumstances because we're trying to run traffic that would normally be on concrete or pavement onto gravel without any limitations to the truck traffic. Probably the only way to cure this is to have a very low speed limit
It already
And-
is.
and a weight limit on there. I mean, otherwise, if you just allow, okay, yep, we'll fix it to whatever weight and speed you want to drive it,
Exactly.
and whatever conditions, it's never going to get done. And pretty soon the elevator will realize it's to their best interest to have it open all the time rather than open some of the time and be able to go fully loaded or wide open. I mean, that's how any of you guys would do if you had a road that was bad and you're continually having to fix it, you would slow down or load lighter.
That's the purpose of load restrictions. When you put
It's-
them on in the spring, it's so people quit hauling. It's simple as that.
Or if they do haul, it's gonna cost them a lot. It's a monetary issue, so I can only
Exactly.
haul a little bit now, and I'm not gonna do it because it costs me money. The same thing has to happen here,
Certainly.
yeah.
Problem is, we don't have scales.
I know.
And in North Dakota, you can't follow a truck into the elevator
I know.
because there's a grain being hauled from Revere up that county road right now, Wayne said, and it's tearing the hell out of it.
I know.
And Oh, by the way, those roads are 35-mile-an-hour roads.
I know. No, what I
So maybe we got an enforcement problem, not a problem with we don't have enough rules.
Yeah, what I was saying is it has to start affecting the principal, which is the elevator. It has to start having a financial impact on them. And I don't mean fines.
Yeah.
I mean the road's
Yeah.
not good enough so they can't get product in there. And that's where then they'll have to say, well, if we can't get it fixed, we're gonna have to take steps to make sure we don't destroy it. I think that's the only way to do this. Because no matter what we do, short of concrete, it's gonna get tore up at some time during the year.
Right.
That's mush underneath.
Right, and so we spend $400,000 here, and 2 years later, we don't have the money to do it again anyway. What purpose did we serve? Again, it's too bad, but it is what it is.
You know, as far as dust goes, Wayne, remember when I kind of sat with you one day and we talked about a lot of different products? There was that soybean oil too.
Yeah.
Really slimy.
Does that get slimy? I didn't know if
That's what
if they put much on or what in there. But it's an every
slimy,
year
but
kind of a thing again.
I think the problem is
You
that they
know.
don't have enough of it, remember? They're starting to
Yeah.
produce it down
Yeah.
southern North Dakota. And
Yeah, there's only one
test
crushing plant.
sections, you know, they don't
In
have-
Minnesota, there's all kinds of it, but
yeah,
because they have more crushing plants over there. In North Dakota, there's only one crushing
They
plant.
also use resin out of the trees or whatever, some kind of resin they put in it.
Yeah.
But
I think everybody's trying to figure something out here with these issues in the whole country, and they just haven't yet. I don't think they've found a good answer anywhere. At least that's what it appears.
And there's a bunch of other similar products, the base one, like Permazyme and a few others that have been used,
Yeah,
but they don't tell you what's in them.
and they've been around forever. They've been around for years.
Base one was the early '80s is when that.
And if they were good, they'd have been put in years ago, and everybody would have been jumping all over that deal. Because soft roads isn't something that just happened recently. It's been every spring forever, you know.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
we're onto something when we start talking about enforcement of, you know, we got radar guns, I guess. What
Well, I
we
mean,
have.
I don't know what I'm not talking government enforcement, I'm talking eventually enforcement of the entity itself, realizing that it's costing them money by doing it. I'm not an advocate of government enforcement. We've got to get down to the question, to the simple realization that it is what it is, and you're gonna have to deal with it. What's the best way to deal with it?
Unless it gets bad enough that we end up closing it for a while in the spring, which that would do the same thing.
That inflicts, yeah, but
commerce, you can't stop commerce.
Yeah.
It is.
They'd have to go another road.
I followed a truck the other morning and he was going a lot faster than 35 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing 55.
Yeah.
yeah.
Way, but I
These
mean,
400 or 500
you can't
horse
sit there all the
semis.
time neither, and for one truck speeding.
Well, there's even conflicting studies on speed restrictions on roads too, whether, they're on a loader's on the same point, less time if it's going faster, right? I mean, it doesn't help. At the intersection, it's worse, but going down the road,
There's a push to increase the speed because they say it doesn't.
That's a
Yeah.
bunch of crap.
That would be true if the road was completely flat,
yeah.
but they're not.
Right.
So if you're going fast and you hit something, an uneven spot, you can't tell me that doesn't dish that out. That's
Oh, yeah,
that's
but-
hooey.
When they go with
If you're driving,
fast enough to jump.
I mean, if you're driving on this table, I agree with that.
That was kind of-
But not when you're driving on it.
Well, because, think of it this way. So forward speed, if you don't sink at all, forward speed doesn't have any effect at all. Put this into it. And then forward speed
Yeah.
your inertia runs into this, to the
old
other side
saying-
of it and dishes it all, and that's why they keep getting
Right.
longer the way you go.
The old saying, speed kills, is true.
Yeah. Well, and washboards, I mean, it's,
Somebody would have to really, really convince me that that's
Well, on a sheet of glass, it wouldn't matter.
No, that's what I said.
But we don't have perfect rigidity. In the
So
roads.
it takes 4.3 minutes longer to drive that 35 than 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're going 75 versus 65,
Yeah.
5 hours.
And
If you're gonna
100
take-
loads, that's
If you're gonna take 10
24
trucks
the whole
and you
day of my
gotta do
life.
200 loads.
Huh?
If you got 10 trucks and you gotta do 200 loads, you gotta drive faster 35.
Yeah. So,
So
No, you
this
just have to take more
problem
time.
Here, you know,
Tomorrow's another day.
we have
Band-Aid
to-
on a cut artery, I'm afraid.
we have to beg for forgiveness or beg for approval to do something different.
I think so.
Is there,
You know,
is there a chance that they would extend it? Extend our time?
However,
no,
you see Wes around?
This is it?
I haven't.
No.
We'll find you.
All right, see ya.
no, that's it. And that, you don't have your project bid and it turned out, you know, accepted and signed and send in for reimbursement. Even if the project isn't done, you still have to send in
Yep.
reimbursement.
Yep.
Like we've done sometimes. So you get the money in the hand, because once it gets past that time, then you
So
can write checks or not.
we'll have to make that, we'll have to add this to the next meeting. This meeting, there's one coming up at 2:30
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
get something going forward.
Okay.
So could you guys try to identify 75,000 tons of product needs to go out?
Well, and if we
Bunch
don't
more
spend
road.
it all, we don't spend it all.
Yeah, but if we can spend it.
Yeah, yep.
We can. There must be some more road somewhere that needs to be done, it's in tough shape. Or did we do everything?
Well,
We've done everything
We did
except for
everything that he
15. Then they turned it down because it's only a mile off 45.
and then I tried doing 22
Yeah.
to Steele County and they wouldn't accept
No.
that. So the
Okay.
only other one was that west of Binford to raise that grade up. Like I say, it's not-
Did we do that already?
we did that,
Did
did the Karnak Road and the Wallen Road at the same time, or is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Or we wanna look at modifying the gradation and putting more gravel on this road in the thicker section.
What's the,
If we can do that, I think that would be an idea.
I wouldn't
what's the
really have
modified
any more.
gradation, is that the,
So class 13 has passing the 200 sieves, so you got a stack of sieves that are different sized holes in them.
Yeah, I-
The 200, okay.
so is this that fines again?
Well, it doesn't differentiate between clay and silt or fine sand. That's what the PI test does.
Just
This is
the size of the product.
Well,
Not the not the.
right.
Is this something we've done before?
It's not, I mean, everybody runs the gradations on their piles as they're putting them up, because they
Yeah.
have to meet spec.
It's just the PI.
So
The PI is what really
So
takes
what's the
the
modified gradation?
So I guess, instead of having 7 to 15% passing the 200, because what we ran into last time on this road, and in the areas where it's, where the surface is coming apart, they only had like 6% passing the 200, so they applied a deduct based on the gradation. So I would like to move that up to 10 to 15% passing the 200, just 3% higher. And if you've got, if they had 11% passing the 200 on their stuff, that's fine. But that would get you more fines to mix in, I guess.
And then
So
we
to
get,
stick
and then
together.
no one bids this thing the next time, and then we're done. Leave it the way we've been doing it, and let's just get some bids on this thing.
But we can't bid the same project on
They
this
won't-
road
they
again.
won't let
without
us do that.
Some change, yeah. Yeah, the state told us that already. That's why we're trying to do something.
Oh, I
different.
see. I see.
Because we'd already done a 3-inch gravel project on that
Yeah.
road
Yeah.
4 years ago, and if we're having issues with it, they wanna know what we can do different this time to make it better. I mean,
Add more gravel.
well, add more gravel should help some, yeah. I agree, it should bridge more of the soft subgrade. If there's more gravel on top of it, but that's the issue anyway, is,
Or would we be further ahead to isolate these spots that need and put fabric down and put 12 inches of gravel over the top?
We did that, that's in
That's part of
there
the
too.
That's
Part of-
already in
It's
there?
part of the
And I
project.
think we should extend those lengths as part of this. And in doing that, those changes to the plans are really minor. We wouldn't have any more cost to, I mean, other than the
Yeah.
putting it in the paper twice. for
Right, no, I
$100 a ton.
mean, we can talk about it at the next, we can't do it now anyway,
Okay.
so we probably might as well adjourn the meeting. And you guys can visit, we'll crank up again here in
Yeah.
50
Yeah,
minutes.
this
Okay.
RFP.
Oh, you guys gotta go do that right now. Okay.
So are we gonna go, are you guys gonna go uptown?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Not me, I already ate. It's been moved by John to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Regular meeting to start at 2:30.